is Jenny Stevens from the Naperville Public Library, and today I'm going to show you how to make this cute little plush penguin using some socks and other materials. If you picture the kit, it looks something like this with the word penguin written on it, and inside you will have one black sock, one small toddler sock, a piece of white felt, a smaller piece of orange felt, piece of ribbon, a giant bag of fluff, and 2 rubber bands. Now the first thing you're going to do is take your sock. You're going to open it up, kind of stretch it out, and you're going to get straight into the fluff. Now I put it in a plastic bag just so it doesn't get everywhere, but you can definitely break it up. What you're going to do is take it in chunks and shove it into the sock all the way towards the end. Now you don't need to use all of the fluff. I gave you a lot so you could have some stuff to work with and kind of decide the shape of your penguin. What you're going to want to do is, once you feel comfortable with the amount you have stuffed, basically you want to keep that stuffing below the ankle of the sock. You can tell the ankle in 2 ways. First is where it bends, and then it's also got a little triangle piece here. What you're going to do then is push all the fluff as south of that ankle as you can, and you're going to take scissors and cut straight across. It's okay if you cut a little bit of the fluff in the process, that's totally fine. Like I said, once you're happy with how that fluff sits in your chopped sock, you're going to take your rubber bands. The first rubber band is going to go at the very top of the sock, and this is to keep the fluff inside. Don't worry, that will eventually be covered. You're going to tie it or rubber band the top of that pretty snug so that no fluff does sneak out. Next, we're going to use the second rubber band to create the shape of the head. As you can see, he's kind of bowling ball shaped, so it's not just one straight shot down your penguin. About there is where I'm going to be happiest with for a head. Now, the top I wrapped pretty tight. The middle you don't really have to wrap all that snug. You're just doing it to give you that definition of a head versus the body. Next, you can go ahead and put your additional fluff away. Put it back in a bag or throw it away. Next, what you're going to do is take that white piece of felt. Now the white is what you're going to use to create the front body of the penguin, so it's not all black. Now you will notice I did not give you a template because it's going to be different based on how you kind of size your penguin. If he's a little plumper, if he's a little leaner, that's going to make the difference. So what you're going to take that white for is just kind of gauge what shape you're looking at. You do want some of the white to come up onto the body and the head. Doesn't have to be all the way at the bottom. Once you've gauged kind of how tall you want yours, so for example, mine's going to be the whole length of my body, you're just going to take your scissors and slightly round the sides. Like so. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Now you'll notice it still looks a bit boxy, so what I'm going to do is just makes the ends a little bit rounder, a little bit more natural looking for my little Arctic pal. Like so. Once I've got my little guy all set, I'm going to decide what side of the body I want him on. I think I'm going to go with this side because this side has a brand of the socks written on it. If your piece is long enough or you want your penguin to have a long enough torso, feel free to glue that belly over the label like I did with my first penguin. This is where your hot glue is going to come in. Once you decide where you want your penguin's body to rest, you're going to use the hot glue to apply the body. So what I do first when I get this stuck on is I put just a little bit at the top, and then just a small zigzag down his belly. I don't go far too high or low on him just yet until I see how this lays out. So now that I've got him generally situated to how I would like, I'm going to go back with my hot glue gun and put down the seams or the edges of my penguin. This ensures that none of the hot glue is going to be visible once I am completely finished. Don't worry about gluing the white belly face material to the rubber banded part. When we add the scarf, it'll be hidden, so you won't see that or worry about it sticking snugly up against his body. So it looks a little weird, looks a little bit like he's wearing a sheet over his face, but that's totally fine. Next, what we're going to do is take our ribbon. Now your ribbon is going to be your scarf. As you can see, I just wrapped it around once. So what I'm going to do is arrange it so it looks nice. So as you can see, I laid it over the back, and then in the front, I'm just tucking it into a simple shape off to the side because I do want it to be kind of off center for a little guy, but this will hide the rubber band. So instead of putting the hot glue on the rubber band, I'm going to put it on the ribbon. So all I'm doing is putting a little bit in the back, and this will just help secure that to the rubber band. And then in front, like so, now that I've got one little bit secure, I'll just put an occasional dollop of glue as we go. I would not put hot glue directly onto the rubber band as that may start it to melt. I would either put it on the felt or on the ribbon first. And then I'm going to put a little bit on top of that first dollop of ribbon for my second piece. Now it's up to you to decide if you want to glue these ends down. If you leave them a little open and flapping in the wind, it might seem a little bit more wintry, but feel free to cut them as well. This one's a little long, for example, so I'm just going to give it a smidge of a trim, and he'll be all set scarf-wise. And then once you do the scarf, there's 2 or 3 steps left. Doesn't really matter the order you do these next ones in, but I'm going to go ahead and put his little hat on at this point. All I'm doing is taking this toddler sock, and I'm going to roll up the cuff like so, and I'm going to put it over this funky opening on his head. We don't really want to know that his head is cut open and could ooze fluff at any moment. If you notice his hat's still a little tall, all you're going to do for that is just keep rolling the sock until you just have a shape at the top you're happy with, and then you can slip it over your little friend's head like so. I like to put the hat so it's covering up the top of that white to give the illusion that his white face continues. Next, you're going to take this tiny strip of orange and cut out his little nose. Now you'll notice once again that there's no template for that nose. You're just going to kind of want to wing it, no pun intended, with the penguin. And then you're just going to glue it on to your penguin using a dollop of glue. Like so. I kind of like my penguin's nose to stick over the scarf, but if you want to trim it down so it doesn't come into contact with him, the last step you're going to do is use a Sharpie or other permanent marker to give your little friend eyes. And you are all set. You have your nice little winter pal to keep you company this winter. Thanks so much for joining me, and have a great day, guys.